I lived in a small upstairs flat in a quiet compound, to tenants downstairs. Landlord lived off-site. I worked weekdays. I came home early most nights. The front door had a metal gate. The flat door had a chain. I always locked both. I checked them twice before sleeping. One Tuesday, I got home and found my flat door closed, but the chain was hanging loose. I did not remember unhooking it. The metal gate was locked. Nothing looked forced. I assumed I was tired. I assumed I had opened the door earlier to take a call outside and forgot the chain. I hooked it back and went on with my night. I did not tell anyone. Around 1:20 a.m., I woke up because my phone buzzed. No notification, just a buzz, like it lost signal and found it again. I put it down and listened. The compound was quiet except for a generator somewhere far away. Then I heard a soft sound from my living room. Not a crash, not a step. A light tap, then another, like someone testing something with a fingertip. I sat up in bed. I did not turn on my light. I waited. The tapping stopped. There was a pause long enough to make me think I imagined it. Then I heard metal scrape. Slow, careful, like something rubbing against my door. I got out of bed and stood behind my bedroom door. My flat door was in the small hallway. I could not see it from where I stood. I could only hear. The scraping continued, then stopped. I heard a small click. The chain should have stopped the door from opening. But I remembered the chain was loose earlier. I remembered how strange that was. I held my breath. I listened for footsteps. Nothing. Then, very quietly, my flat door moved. Not opened, just moved against the chain. A faint rattle. Someone was on the other side. That's when I realized someone had already been inside earlier. I went back into my bedroom and locked the door. My hands were shaking. I texted the tenant downstairs. No reply. I called. It rang. No answer. Then I heard my flat door again, a slow push against the chain. Then the sound of something sliding under it, like a thin object looking for the latch. The chain rattled once, twice, then the sound stopped, like the person heard something. I didn't move. I didn't cough. I didn't speak. A minute later, I heard a new sound. Footsteps inside my flat. Not outside, inside. They were soft, like socks on tile. They moved from the hallway into the living room, then toward my bedroom door. I held my phone with both hands and called emergency. The call connected, but the network sounded weak. I gave my address in a whisper. I said someone was inside. The footsteps stopped at my bedroom door. Nothing moved. Then I heard breathing, not mine. A light touch hit the door handle. The handle moved down slightly. It stopped, like the person felt resistance and didn't want to make noise. Then a voice came, low and controlled. Open, I know you're awake. I didn't answer. The voice came again. Same calm tone. I won't hurt you. I just want to talk. The breathing stayed close to the door. Then it moved away. I heard the flat door rattle again. The metal gate outside shook lightly. Then a quiet whistle, short and sharp, like a signal. A second later, there were footsteps outside the flat. More than one set. I was still on the phone. The operator asked if I could leave through a window. I couldn't. Bars. I stayed silent and listened. The footsteps outside moved down the stairs, then back up again. Then I heard the downstairs tenant's door open. A man's voice downstairs shouted, "Who's there?" Immediately, everything went quiet. No footsteps, no whisper, just the generator far away. After that, I heard running, fast, heavy, down the stairs. A gate clanged. The operator stayed with me until the downstairs tenant came up and knocked on my bedroom door. In the morning, the landlord found a thin tool jammed behind the chain mount. It had been placed to keep the chain from catching properly. That explained the loose chain earlier. It did not explain how someone got through the locked gate without noise. It did not explain why the person came back. Nothing was stolen. No electronics. No cash. Only my kitchen knife was missing. I noticed it 2 days later. The landlord changed the locks. The compound added a guard. No one was caught. I still hook my chain, then pull the door hard to make sure it holds. Sometimes it rattles the same way it did that night. I don't sleep immediately after that. My aunt's house had the floors and an iron gate. She lived in a quiet estate with streetlights and a security patrol. I stayed there for a weekend while she traveled. I slept in the guest room downstairs. The upstairs was empty. On the first night, I noticed the upstairs hallway light was on. I remembered switching it off. I was sure I did. I assumed I was mistaken. I assumed the bulb had a delay, or I hit the wrong switch. I went upstairs, turned it off, and came back down. At 3:07 a.m., I woke up to sound above me, a slow step, then another. Not heavy, not rushing, measured. I stayed still and listened. The steps crossed the upstairs hallway. They stopped directly above the staircase. Then I heard a soft click. The hallway light upstairs turned on again. A thin bar of light spilled down the stairs. I stared at it from the bottom step. The light made the house feel awake. It made shadows sharper. I whispered my aunt's name without thinking. No reply. I didn't go up this time. I picked up my phone and called the estate security number. It rang. No answer. I tried again. Still no answer. The footsteps started again, moving slowly across the upstairs floor. Then they stopped above the living room. A new sound followed. A drawer opening, then closing, then a second drawer. Not frantic, searching. I crouched behind the sofa where I could see the staircase. The upstairs light stayed on. Minutes passed. Then a soft sound came from the stairs. A foot on the first step. Then the second step. Slow. The person was coming down. That's when I realized the gate did not matter if they were already inside. I didn't shout. I didn't run to the door. I knew the keys were on the kitchen counter, and I would have to cross the open space. I stayed low and dialed emergency. The operator answered. I whispered the address and said someone was in the house. The footsteps stopped on the staircase. Silence. Then a voice came down from upstairs. Not loud, not angry, just calm. I know you're down there. I didn't answer. The voice continued, like it was speaking to a child. Don't make it hard. The footsteps resumed. One step down, another. I looked at the staircase and saw a hand on the rail. The skin looked dark in the light. The fingers were long. The hand moved slowly, like it owned the space. Then the head appeared. A man. No mask. No rush. He looked normal, which made it worse. He held something small in his other hand, a bunch of keys, my aunt's keys. He paused halfway down the stairs and looked into the living room. His eyes scanned like he was counting furniture, counting angles, counting where I could be. He smiled slightly, like he found it funny that I was quiet. Then his head turned, directly toward where I was hiding. Not searching, finding, he said. There. I moved before he could take another step. I ran to the kitchen, grabbed the spare car key from the hook near the fridge, and ran out the back door. The alarm did not trigger. That meant he had already disabled it. Outside, the air felt cold and unreal. I ran barefoot across the small backyard to the neighbor's gate and screamed until lights came on. By the time security arrived, the house was empty. They checked upstairs and found the hallway light on. The drawers in my aunt's room were open. Nothing else looked disturbed. No broken locks. No forced windows. Only the gate camera showed something. A man entering earlier. Not jumping the gate. Not climbing. Walking in behind a car as it entered. Staying close enough that the camera read it as one vehicle. He held the gate as it closed behind him. He looked up at the camera once. Not surprised. Not worried. Like he knew it wasn't enough. My aunt changed the gate system. She installed a second internal door lock at the staircase. She stopped traveling without someone staying over. The estate patrol said it happens sometimes. People follow cars in. People test lights and alarms. People take their time. I didn't sleep in that house again. When I visit in the daytime, I still look at the staircase first. I still remember the upstairs light switching on by itself. Not because of electricity, because someone wanted me to know they were there.